from their opponents in Millennium. But we'll go for the map veto here to see which map we're going to end up playing on. And we'll see the 2 that are banned by default. Of course, 7. We narrow it down to 5. Border and Clubhouse will get removed.
Yet again.
Yep. Not surprising at all.
Could we see another Villa? That'd be pretty hype.
Actually, why not? Because already EU has played Villa twice as many times as NA, which proves
2
my
is
point.
double 1.
Ah.
Whoa! Maths. Coastline, though, definitely not going to be played. No, unfortunately, Villa. Yeah, it wasn't a first ban,
Bank?
at least.
Yes, let's go.
It should be a good one.
I really like watching Bank. And I want to add to this. You know why? Because now Panix can't play IQ with grenades. Because last time he did, she had grenades.
Well, to be fair, they didn't win that, as you can see as well. So maybe you'll do better without the grenades. Less dependency on the frags. Either way, though, we'll see if they can. The fact that they let through again makes me think they've made some adjustments to how they're going to be playing this. So hopefully they've got some good strategies. But I feel like, I mean, I don't have the stats to back it up, but I feel like teams that have lost maps are continuing to lose those same maps when they try them again a second time, despite, I'm sure they have adjustments they make, things they try and do a little bit differently. But I don't think the backbone of how they play it changes too much. And then they just give away intel to the other team in terms of, here's our weaknesses. Chances are we haven't shored all of them up yet. Feel free to take advantage of them.
Yeah, I think one thing Uno actually was mentioning, of course, Uno from ENS, he was saying, Milosh, don't ever question French teams and their decisions. And I think he has a point. We really shouldn't. Somehow, they do things and they work, even though when you crunch the numbers, they should not.
Maybe they do math different, I guess, than us.
I mean,
Like Polish notation, it's just a different way of doing the math. Either way, though, I mean, there are a lot of French teams, and we're going to see 2 of them fighting right now. So
there's always a French derby every week, right?
Yeah, it definitely won't when half the teams are French. That definitely makes it
Maybe they can actually go to LAN again. I mean, Millennium, there's 2 French teams that made it to LAN in the past year and a half.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely not been...
We're not going to count DreamHack in this.
Yeah, you don't count those. But either way, I think there's plenty of potential, but these 2 teams have not been doing super great this season. And so either one of these winning is definitely good for them to try and leap up because, of course, the scores are a lot closer during the first half, and now is the time to kind of get those points in because otherwise you have a lot to make up for in the second half of the season, and there's a chance that the second half could be so very different because of different operators, balance changes, things like that could throw off so much of that second half. The more leads you can have now, the better, because it's a big question mark on the second half. But
yeah, I want to see what Mockit really do, because for me, the pressure is on them to pull this through because they're the French national champions. They're qualified to the Paris Major as well. So they have a lot of burden on their shoulders and they have to show up in Pro League. Speaking of which, let's head into game Bank between Supremacy and Mockit.
Well, hopefully they're going to have a better time this time than they did last one. But either way, they're not necessarily going to know how Supremacy play it because they have not done so yet. Although there's a chance they've been, run into them at other French events that they might have been able to see some of their bank strategy. But bans here, of course, going to throw things off a little. Could see Mockit banning a Glaz or a Lion, which are the more common ones. But
I mean, if anything, it makes a lot of sense for Ashe to be banned by Supremacy. Mockit should be keeping the Dokkaebi. I would see a Lion. Again, I agree with you, and there you go.
So yeah, maybe now we'll get the Ashe just to mess him up.
Yeah, Visions 2020.
I mean, that's a big ban to use, though. I mean, you only get 1 attacker ban to use it to just disable 1 player. You've got to have good confidence that you could deal with everything else.
Pretty good, actually.
Well, no, it's definitely not a waste or anything, but Habana going off.
Makes a lot of sense. We've seen a lot of games now with at least 1 hard destructor being banned.
You say it makes a lot of sense, but honestly, Thermite's good on every bomb site on this.
Yes, but you're going to ban Habana because usually if you have the option to bring 2 hard destructors, you'll bring both of them just in case. It just opens up so many options to you as an attacker.
Well, we'll definitely see Thermite played, that's for sure.
Now, Mira is going to get removed, so we're going to see more of Voy on that Thermite. And last operator, Echo or the...
There it is, yep.
Makes a lot of sense.
Unfortunately.
You got French teams, Echo's got to be banned.
I hate it when it gets to the point where it's like, I almost want them to nerf these operators just so they get played more, or banned less, and it's like, I don't want to, I like Echo so much, I don't want to see that happen, but Oh well, maybe they just need more other overpowered operators, right? Just more worth banning than Echo, so the Echo won't get banned.
Yeah, can we revert client? No, actually.
Yeah.
No, just.
Can we just give Pulse his super range back, and then he'll get banned all the time?
I mean, he technically has super range when somebody's Finka boosted, right?
Yeah, but I mean, what is that? Like twice a Pro League season at this point?
When Fox is playing.
Yeah. We saw it a little bit yesterday, I believe it was as well. So.
I think Yuna ran it. I think it was run a couple times.
Yeah, I don't remember which player it was on it, but it was definitely sort of useful. Boy, actually going to be switching off that Maestro, unfortunately, to the smoke. Having both would be maybe a little bit better, but we'll see if that combined with the Pulse will hold, of course, because you're going to have the Pulse playing most likely in that gold vault. You'll have maybe some extra cameras from the Valkyrie anyways and not necessarily need the Evil Eye. And then, of course, the smoke to deny it. So still a really good lineup to defend down there. They are going to be bringing Jackal because, of course, it's Bank. So no surprise there. Interesting to see both a Capitao and a Ying for this play, though, as well as you're going to have the smokes from the Dokkaebi. So this could be a good push if they can get a lot of their operators alive towards it. Not to mention extra smokes from Jackal, assuming he's bringing those as well. That is a lot of smoke and flashbangs to come out here in terms of the Candelas. So assuming Thermite does his job opening the walls, although he's going to have a little more trouble with one of those walls. As you can see, it's shotgunned up. And they didn't necessarily bring any soft destructors other than the shotgun of Jackal.
There you go.
Other than that, they didn't bring any major soft destructors. And I mean, what I mean by that is someone that could do it a bit more from range, like Zofia or Ashe. But in this case, yeah, if you can get close enough and not get shot while shotgunning with that little tiny shotgun, sure, it's possible.
Not about the size, my man. It does the work. And that is...
It's not about the size, it's about the range.
The shoes... Oh, no, he's running the PDW, which is not...
Well, that's interesting and different.
Obviously, the difference between the PDW-9 is that it's run and the C7E is that...
You can't shoot cameras very well with it, apparently.
You got a lot more rounds, obviously, with a 50-round drum mag, but the PDW-9 is basically a glorified MPX. It's a 9mm, it doesn't really do much damage, much penetration damage either, whereas with the C7E, you still are running a 5.56, you have better penetration power, which we've seen it works very well here when you're attacking there's soft walls that defenders are going to be playing from in that red hallway. Kisco playing from the lone office, and there you go. That is the camera being shot down. An information game on point here from Supremacy. They push their opponents down, but of course, panics. There we go. So, 46% here win rate for Mockit. Again,
I think it was the community vote.
Community vote. Yep. That is
win rate for the community vote.
Yeah.
Attackers have located a bomb.
No phone calls used yet. Actually, a minute 30 in this round. They're actually pretty good on conserving utility here, as they also have not been overusing the Jackal tracking despite the extra footprints they saw. So they're definitely saving a lot for this second half.
No, I still see this. The Candelas to be thrown in from red hallway and pushing in. Panix, I always talk about this. I know, I'm so sorry, but Panix likes to play that server stairs so well, and even has a shield to help him with it.
Well, as long as you're sorry.
Yeah, this is my Canadian side. But
hey.
It's very strong to be in there, obviously, because you fight with a weapon that is literally designed to be played up there. But what does the Candela do? Ying can pretty much negate all of that as you just rush in to the back of the site. Panix, though, learning exactly of the machinations of his opponents, will come in. The C4 from Ravon will take down Alpha Ma. There's nobody to contest Panix. He's still in servers. K6 will have to run back as Crisco will get one. Void with a frag back onto K6 as DeJeus runs on, and he's got 50 rounds in the mag, but this angle is being held up by Panix. Alive with one more C4 onto Crisco. DeJeus is the last man alive with 30 seconds left on the clock. They both look at literally the same angle. So the Ella will find a couple bullets into the Jackal, and DeJeus will have to run back as the Panix has remaneuvered. We'll try to contest from the outside. What is this? Defenders are trying to retake. Alive will get the last one. There you go. Finding the angle on DeJeus as he rotates into the lockers. And pretty convincing round here for Mockit. Supremacy read it correctly, but their equipment usage was mistimed.
Unfortunately, not tracking Panix, they're not being prepared for Panix was really the big problem, because they had a nice idea, right? Like, oh, let's not deal with the server stairs. Let's use all of our smoke, all of our ability to track people, and just push with those Candelas right down the hatch, get into sight, plant anywhere in the site, because they won't necessarily know where we're at, because, of course, we smoked the whole site out. The big problem with that, of course, is Panix just goes, oh, that's fine, I'll just turn around and shoot you through this wall. And that was really a big, big problem for them because they just were not prepared to deal with that level of pressure because the smokes themselves didn't cover them well enough for that push. They thought, oh, we'll smoke the whole room, but that leaves a lot of holes. They just did not smoke at all. And then, of course, the Candles were not going to reach Panics. Had they taken care of Panics on the server stairs, I think that actually would have worked fine with what they were trying to do. I mean, obviously, C4s are still a big problem in that small of a room.
That's why now the Supremacy bring the Zofia.
Yeah. That's the adaptation they needed, to be able to take care of that shield, to be able to push with some stuns. A little bit less effective because Panics was on Ella, so it wouldn't have done full effect, but still probably would have helped a little.
But look at what they do. They switch the site, obviously, because the site was won by Mockit. Obviously, you're not going to play you're going to be able to play downstairs, and this time, Panics will bring the castle. Completely different playstyle than the Ella, of course. And we'll see if Mockit will set up more of a defense on the top stairs, and that's exactly what they're going to try to do. The Zeus Jackal, I mean, I would ask this pretty much every single pro. Buck versus Jackal. And so far, the answer is Buck pretty good at clearing out the entirety of the floor. Jackal, very good with the ITA to have extremely positional areas taken down, where usually you'd be seeing your opponents anchoring either on the archives or on the tellers, and those positions are very predictable.
Well, it was a good read also for them to bring Buck this time because they did pick the right site for that. Now that if they can get top floor control, which of course the Jews on that Jackal will help with, then once they can take that, they can start opening up a lot of the floor. They can also use some of those lifeline grenades from above to be able to start to do some destruction or stunning onto the players downstairs along with Buck's grenades. So overall, some good utility. Not sure how much Capital will help on this particular bomb site depending on how they go for the actual take, but it has still been proven to be a good operator to have. We saw him quite a bit, like we said, in North America. He's definitely proven to just be kind of a nice all-around attacker. He is a 3-speed, something that is easy to forget because of how often he's not used in a sort of entry fragging kind of role. Partially because just his gun is a little bit slow to ADS, even with angled grip. It's a little bit, I don't know, not the nicest of guns. Despite it being fairly good on the recoil, it just doesn't seem to frag anywhere near as well as Ash's guns, for example.
And Zeus, yet again, he'll be bringing the PDW-9 with the extra smoke grenades. So, does that impact, at least, that was thrown out. Not sure if it was a C4. There's still 2 impacts left on Panics. He'll pull back into the exec lounge as K6 finds the long angle on the enemy. Boy spraying in, just keeps firing, but Alfama, all it needs a couple of well-placed shots. Panics, as he vaults in, will get taken down. That is Crisco with the kill on Panics.
Unfortunately, Alive drops out of the game. Hopefully he can get back in before this round's over. So now it's time for the attack to slow down, right?
There we go. Revon will get one, though.
Yep. 4 more to find. Not likely to happen here. Although a lot of time left, which could work in his favor if they're not doing a good job tracking. But considering they have Jackal left on board here, if they could just catch his footprints, he's going to be pinged, and he's the only one left. No one will be there to cover him or use him as bait. So as walls start to get opened, now he's going to have to go for a quick flank, and he does succeed to an extent.
Yeah, you can see one player upstairs. That's, of course, Crisco on the Buck. That's 2 technical soft destructors that are played. We get some damage done on the Zeus as Thermite will get dropped, and that's the Fuser. Oh, Revon can actually do this here. Anthrax will go down, and Revon might be on half health, but you can't really take down the floorboards above him, at least with the way that he is.
Where's the rest of the team, though, at this point?
They're dead.
Come
They're
on,
dead.
guys.
Emzo.
No, I mean, the other 2, they're upstairs hanging out while he's just clutching this out. I mean, the diffuser's sitting down here, guys. You can cover upstairs all you want, but you can't plant if no one's down there with the diffuser. Anyways, they're going to try here.
15 seconds to
Jackal's going to try to run on in here, but Revon is ready for him. No, there we go. The Zeus. That Beta Mag will win it out as he'll get the final shot and take down Mockit. That was a very close one for Revon.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess we're going to need a rehost to bring in our player into this.
Hopefully Alive is not in a situation where he's like power down or something like that, because obviously that is much harder to come back from than just a disconnection. But either way, obviously we are going to need to wait a moment here to try and get Alive back in it, because we're not going to play a 4v5, as entertaining as that might be.
I mean, it was almost a clutch.
Yeah, it was almost, and that's what I mean. I know it sounded a little harsh on the other 2 defenders, but it was a situation where it wasn't like they'd suddenly died. Now we need to quickly get back to site. It was like they died, and then you just saw them upstairs, kind of like, what do we do now? I'm still looking at the floor. Maybe he'll walk underneath me. Like, no, the diffuser's right there. Just come back downstairs. Work as a team. You're 2 of you left. Use that. If one of you is going to stay up there, okay, as long as he can cover. But they've proven that the Buck is not covering well enough on that teller's area. Every time he pushed out, killed someone on that teller's area, almost 3 people. Had he won that fight against Jackal, it would have been a 3rd person he killed in that teller's area. So Buck was in a position to accomplish, unfortunately, nothing at that point, just because it was not effective. There's not a position or an angle you can find down onto the tellers right there from above. And he just was seemingly not catching him when he was kind of rotating a little bit in and out of the door. Yeah. So I don't know. I kind of want to fault Buck a little bit for that, just because, well, he let 3 people almost die without really doing anything to stop it.
Really, if you look at it, the Valkyrie lost at the end because of the vault, and that kind of played to the deficit of Mockit. But it definitely got too close for comfort. You're in a 4v2, play 2 players from Archives, 2 players from Tellers.
Yeah, Archives is where they should have been pushing, absolutely. I 100% agree. Had you been pushing for Archives, guess what? You would have shot him in the back when he was going out to kill your people at Tellers. Either way, though, they did win the round, so faults aside, they still get the point for it. Although maybe that's just because Alive had disconnected, right? It's just all that.
Who knows?
But either way, hopefully we'll get him back soon.
Of course, the rules are, for people that are not familiar with this, at the end of the first minute, if there are no kills, then, you still cannot rehost, because that first minute is very important.
Yeah, but if there's any kills during the first minute, again, no rehost. So
yeah, I don't know if team kills count into that. I think they do.
I think you should. I don't think you shouldn't get a freebie. If you get a team kills, hey, you kind of messed yourself up there. Got to get those default cams, I guess. Either way, though.
It happened way too many times, actually.
Yeah, it has happened a little bit lately. But either way, I think so far we're seeing an interesting back and forth between these 2 teams. I mean, we saw a pretty good defense of downstairs in the attack, despite its ideas, not the greatest. But we did see at least adaptations from the operator changes and stuff like that coming from the attackers. And overall, they had a much better composition for attacking Tellers on that time. Obviously, they misplayed it a little bit towards the end, but like I said, for example, the Buck was a good pick. He just wasn't necessarily playing his position correctly towards the end of the round. Up till that point, doing a good job. Obviously, they killed everyone except for Revan, so they were doing quite well. I imagine if they can make the adaptations, if they have to go back to lockers again. Now, they know they don't have to go back to lockers again next round, so that's fine. Chances are they're going to have to go back to it, though, the round after that. So assuming they're a bit more prepared for that, not trying to go for let's just smoke everything and drop, I think they could win this a little bit more convincingly. Yeah.
Panix was playing in these server stairs with a shield in front of him. He had smoke mines. He had, I think, a single ADS to protect him in there. So it was a very easy spot to hold, but at the same time, if you get pushed by enough equipment, you're lost, and you lose a lot of equipment as the defense being set up in there.
Yeah.
The Zofia was a good decision. Unfortunately, obviously, it doesn't work. Like, you can't replay the same site, obviously. Yeah. But the adaptation from Supremacy was just, hey, let's just not even contest him.
Yeah. I mean, it's a nice idea, assuming you can have someone either push from the sewers to contest him or have someone, if they drop that server hatch, and get in around behind him. But it's, again, that's going to be timing. And in terms of, like, you smoke and get his intention on that site, then drop on him and get the flank, because, of course, he is going to contest that. And it surprises me that they didn't think, oh, Panix will then, we know someone's on the server stairs. We're going to get contested from that because that wall's open. I had to imagine they droned and saw that wall was mostly open. But thankfully, we now have Alive back. So the game itself,
let's go. Alive
once again.
Let's go. Auf geht's, as they say in KS teaches me so many wonderful words. Yeah.
I can only imagine.
Let's get in.
Back to bank. Teller's Archives again. They can try it a second time. And, of course, I assume they're going to have the same lineup for the most part on attack as well to compensate. But Revan this time, despite having a fairly good clutch attempt with Valkyrie, is going to go for a different V-named player. This time Vigil. Assuming he doesn't 6th pick off of that.
I mean, yeah, we'll go back to Teller's Archives.
Why not?
Why not? Vigil in the elevators makes sense. Jaeger's been played in there quite a bit, but the Valkyrie, of course.
Right back.
Yeah, there you go. The shrubbery might be the position. We'll be seeing the Black Eyes being set up in again.
Yeah, we saw when there was the elite skin on the Black Eyes. That was a very good position to get those into.
It was changed actually.
But it was changed back, yeah. So it's not as powerful as it used to be. Not like the Twitch drone situation, which unfortunately has never changed.
Attackers need to locate and defuse
that is
the
bombs if they can.
Yeah. Is that? Do they have an elite skin? The
yeah.
Captains? Oh, wow! I didn't even know that.
The Vimpel.
That
Impel Elite skin.
means nothing to me. The Vimpel. They're like a pimple, but with a V. Either way, though, it's interesting to see how these Evil Eyes could get placed to set up for the defense of the site. Looks like they're going to have one potentially over here. I like that positioning because he's hiding it a little bit behind that trash can if they go to Thermite that wall, which, of course, a Thermite is much easier to take care of than a than X-Kairos, because X-Kairos, of course, you have to do all 6.
I don't think anybody looks at this.
No, and that's what I love about a lot of the Black Eye positions where you can hide it
even
laying
set
down.
it by the tellers on the side.
5 seconds left.
And let's see if that
boy.
factors in. I think there's a good chance if Thermite gets to that position, chances are if
Attackers recovered the bomb
Maestro's still alive, that probably will work, at least for taking out one of the Thermite charges. So I like positions like that. It's one of the things I like about Maestro. It's not necessarily to try and zap people, it's so much to zap utility, to try and stop it, not to mention drones as well. Combine that with a mute jammer as well, so you bottleneck the drones to specific positions where they're going to be shot. Pretty useful.
See the Maestro, hear him at least, setting up with his Bailiff for 10. As the Juz walks on in, and the Go Mine is promptly dispatched. He goes Alpha at the drone, and there's no footsteps to be found with the Inox.
Not surprising, though. They don't really need to walk around in that specific spot in terms of the way to defending it, because of course they're going to go into CEO3 meeting for the most part, but does find some actually going along the wall. Now, last time we saw Panics getting shot down while vaulting over the windows. Hopefully he doesn't make the same mistake this time.
Legion's tracked for just a bit more, and that was enemy on the inside. Now you can use those that tracking from the Jackal to bait out your opponents, and that is exactly what happens. Enemy comes up, gets one kill. Does he spot the one on the other side of the map? No, he does not. Anthrax finds him sitting by the police car in the garage, and that's the buck exchanged for the Legion. Honestly, it's an equal trade.
Yeah, that's definitely a case where like I can't really say one or the other because both of them are very good in the situation. Although in this case, the top floor control being a bit better maintained by losing the buck might be in more advantage to Mockit here.
Now Live will move up the main stairways. Here it's K6 rattling in with the pair of 308. He's very busy looking in, and they're going to try to make him even busier with Panics looking down. Alive coming in. He hasn't found the angle yet, but here's the vault in, and there we go. Capitao found and Capitao dispatched. Alive will make it a bit easier as Alphama will jump in. The Juice gets one on Alive. He tries to rotate away. Unfortunately, Revan finding the headshot on Anthrax. And that is one eliminated. The second as well from Panics with the UMP. The Juice with that 50-round mags left alive, but maybe not for long. The pistol whips it out. Panics takes down the Juice, and that is Mockit to secure the round. Beautiful play there with the 45.
Nicely done. Good defense, and that brings Mockit up an extra point now, 2-1. Advantage them, as they now can no longer go back to tellers, but they can go back to lockers, so they definitely will, which is a good position. I mean, it's a bummer to lose tellers the first time, but now this continues to put them in a position of strength to win this one again. Now, of course, if they win lockers this time, though, then we have to see what their third bomb site is, which is more likely to be CEO than it is to be open area, but still possible. Could be open area.
Alrighty.
Assuming they win this, of course. If not, and then, of course, they can try again and then possibly go to tellers after that, but enemy baiting out a Caveira pick. Not going to happen. So he's going to go on to that Jaeger 6 pick. And Doke will be here coming out from Crisco.
We've yet to see Dokkaebi plays again. It was banned in the first matchup.
Defenders, protect your
So
bombs
we'll
from
see
being
how
defused
things
by attackers.
play out in here. Now they had the Ying. They have the same exact lineup here, except for the Zofia. That was they have the Ying. That was outside of pick rate, but Zofia was another operator. That completely forgoes my mind. I cannot pinpoint which attacker that was, but you see enemies setting up ADSs to help out his teammate. 2 will be set in here. So Panics, very predictable. I'll be playing the Ela in there. Now, this is one thing that Canadian and a few other people have been talking about, and you know, maybe you should be switching up your strategies, not being super predictable, especially when a team like Mockit is going to the Paris Major in a couple weeks' time. So,
Attackers recover the diffuser.
Well,
Attackers
on the
are
upside,
moving to defuse
when it
the
isn't
bomb.
within one particular match, there isn't one advantage to being predictable. You can then bait your opponent into playing more predictably as well on their attack. So let's say you set up the same defense, right? And you know what the weaknesses to that defense are, and you know they know the weakness to the defense itself that they're going to try and exploit. You can use that predictability to your advantage, but that's kind of a little bit of a long con sort of play.
it's a mind game.
It is, but I mean, absolutely, mind games are a factor in this, as well as, you know, spur-of-the-moment adaptations of game sense, but that's why some of the best masterminds of this game definitely really are kind of game changers for certain teams. Of course,
Yeah,
why coach analyst roles are so important.
Yeah, I remember this as well. Even like tiny details, like when Canadian was still back in the day on CTM, he explained one thing.
The shoes.
The shoes, exactly, when pushing onto Clubhouse. Yeah, just throwing up the dirt tunnel every single time, and if I saw the shoes that were, you know, giving out a different operator, then I would just tell my teammates to switch up. And
It's one of those great anecdotes that just helps illustrate certain IGL calls and things like that. Although in this case, I don't recall if
PC's,
yeah,
IGL.
that's what I thought at the moment. So either way, though, they are trying to contest Panics like we were talking about last time. But unfortunately, it's a situation where he spent a lot of those lifelines just trying to stop Panics from pushing him while he took out the shield, as well as potentially taking out the ADS. So it's a case now where he doesn't have as many left to try and fight this. They could potentially maybe use the Capitao a little bit to help with this, but they also have stuns from Anthrax. So Anthrax actually could help with this because his stuns, in theory, should have full effect on Panics, unlike the lifeline stuns here, the concussion ones, they're not going to have full effect because of the lore. But a Claymore at least will deny his ability to push up, but that wasn't the problem last time. Him pushing up wasn't exactly what you had to worry about. It's once you pushed down, you didn't have good enough smoke coverage to make sure that Panics wasn't able to shoot you in the process.
All right, they got to go for another drop.
Yep.
Panics at least this time might get contested. The flashbang will get thrown, and it's K6. Chucking his crossbow bolts. Still Zofia watching upstairs. The diffuser will get set down. No, Ravon will try to stop it, and there we go. 2 kills. Anthrax and K6 will go down. A peek at Mockit will get one. Alphama going down to Panics' spray. Disco, though, making the SMG-12 work here, even with the recoil nerf. Voy will get one. This, oh no, what a C4, and Alive will find the kill on the Jus. C4 or not, Mockit will win the round. That's a 3-1.
Unfortunate, though, that they seem to forget when the operators were revealed, hey, there's a pulse. So when we're all in that smoke, standing around planting, he kind of knows where we're at, and he has a C4, so...
The thing is, because nobody opened up the skylight hatch because Hebana's banned, and you only have 2 thermites, and they had to use both of them in the open area, because of that, there was nobody to contest the pulse that was in servers. So Pulse could either play from the cash vault or from the gold vault if need be, just, you know, fall back from servers into there to contest if that skylight hatch had been opened, or he stays in the same spot, which was the case.
Well, like I said, he used their smoke to his advantage.
Yeah.
So, I mean, either way, it was a good play. I was wrong about the third bomb site, though. We are going to see open area versus CEO, which seems like not the greatest idea, but, you know, maybe they've got a strategy for it. We're just not super prepared for it. Because open area has not been a big success for most teams.
I'll bring back Uno's point. Please, never contest the mindset of French teams. They have an idea of what they're doing, right?
To be fair, Mockit have won the majority of the defense route,
Yeah.
so I will give them some slack on this because there are some great ideas for this bomb site, but there are a lot of weaknesses to it that make it so that the greatest of ideas, unfortunately, once they hit reality, tend to not work as well as you would like. But like you said, you know, the French teams have been the ones to often pioneer new bomb sites and do some interesting things, but they don't always work for others. You know, a lot of Vitality's ideas work for Vitality, but not necessarily for other teams.
Yeah.
So we'll see, though, how they manage to hold this, as they've done a good job so far bringing it 3-1. Supremacy seems to be making similar mistakes most of their attacks and repeating those, despite knowing a lot about the opposing lineup. And, you know, in theory, they should be able to correct for those. But nonetheless, they're not doing terrible. They're just not necessarily adapting to what Mockit are pulling.
Yeah, a big part of the defense on open area, having this discussion a couple days ago with Kicks, and it's like, Yeah, open area without Mira is kind of difficult. You can't really gauge the situation, get information on what's happening, you know, in and around you. So, you know, that might be. Oh no, the Meister is gonna get detected here by the Jews, so it doesn't really help out much now, does it?
Yeah. Well, we'll see. They're actually opening up some of the ceiling themselves, which is interesting because that's one of the big weaknesses of this bomb site is how much of the floor is destructible. There's 2 hatches to look down on you. Revan, though, doesn't care. Gets the kill on the K6, and that is Captau down already.
Yeah, he's playing inside of the Tellers, and there's always someone that plays in Teller's Archive. So I don't know what Supremacy we're doing here, not even trying to contest.
Timing. Enemy just living off of his game sense right now. Oh, unfortunately, not in that case.
The Juice is ready, and the C4 does not connect from below. That'll force them back. Alive still training his shotgun on the top floor. Do a bit of damage to the Juice, but not enough to finish him off. See, Revan has rotated back into the archives as the Zeus is in there, and Revan already has a camera to gain information and contest him. He'll hit shots through the shrubbery, but cannot connect on the Jackal as he'll get spotted. Nobody dealing with panics, though. As he'll jump down, take no damage. Alfama will get taken out, so that's now player advantage for Mockit, even having the castle low on health.
Definitely looks like we may again see a success for them, but they do have 2 shotguns to be able to open up a lot of the floor. Anthrax, not necessarily the most important, but he can open up both those hatches that are, well, I guess it looks like already at least one of them open. Unfortunately, almost working against them, there's Void just barely misses ahead, but they have the utility to make the plays here. I'm just not confident Supremacy can make them.
See the Thermite coming in from the main hallway. Hispanics will try to contest from the Teller's office. Fall back for just a second as he does have a rotation hole as well as Ravon to help him out to rotate in from the archives and head back into the open area. Supremacy are piling up here to try and push in from the main hallway. As Anthrax will find the kill, finally taking down that castle. But there's 13 seconds left on the clock. There is not much to work with. Gas canisters will all get thrown in the face of Anthrax. And that'll be the buck to get one, and the second one being taken down here. He'll try to tag the side as can he get the kill? He'll try to spray in. Not enough firepower as Voy will have to clutch this one out. A lot of damage done. Anthrax will go down, but Maestro spotted. He'll have to walk into the site. There's 2 attackers set up for him. He'll take down 1 now, as Voy still has a ton of ammo. Unfortunately for him, Kisco is watching the angle. He'll get a tag, but not enough to get the kill. Wall is soft, and Kisco turns around for the shot. Voy will go down, and it's a good half as round number 5 will go the way of Supremacy. 3-2.
Well, only a 1-point advantage here for Mockit, but I definitely felt a lot more confident in their defenses. Open area, unfortunately, still not a success, but either way, a very good attempt by them. They did have to go to a 3rd bomb site the way things worked out, but now they're going to be on attack. So now we get to see how Supremacy want to do it. They are also going to start on lockers, which is not a huge surprise. That is generally the better bomb site, although there are a lot of teams, especially North America, that are willing to start on CEO, which is a bomb site we have yet to see in this matchup, although that could be one that Supremacy likes to play, maybe even for a 2nd one instead of a 3rd bomb site. But
maybe because of the Mira and Echo bans.
That's true. That is going to be a factor as well, because that can help. But I feel like some of the other defenses that we've seen on it depend a bit more on playing with other ACOGs and Castle. So it's not necessarily the case where you absolutely need those, but it does certainly help to have them, because some of those good CEO defenses were pre-ban phases. So
yeah, even when C9 was actually playing with a Mira, they kind of had some odd Mira spots, and I was talking to Lauren about this afterwards, and like, yeah, Fox forgot to put the bandit batteries on the Mira windows, and
Fox never forgets. It's just next level strat. He just doesn't want to let his teammates on it because he's afraid of leaks. That's all it is. Just like that hole they opened in Tellers, right? That he explained oh so eloquently, that it's just, you know, so they can maybe shoot people through it.
Yeah. Hey, it's logical, right?
Right.
Now, here's the thing. The wall coming in from the main hallway into Teller's office, that wall gets reinforced by some teams. There we go. This one right in front of us. Sometimes some teams will reinforce it. I'm a big opponent of that. I'm a much bigger proponent of opening up holes at the leg levels.
Yeah, that
and
can
just,
help.
Yeah, having angles to shoot
Attackers
through there.
recovered the
You can hide underneath the desk and watch them.
Locate a bomb and defuse
Stay
it.
safe in an earthquake. Either way, though, yeah, there's some good ways to set up walls. It is unfortunate there's no way to open up the bottom of a wall and still reinforce it.
Hey, maybe we can have an operator that reinforces half of
I
the wall.
want a half wall reinforcing operator.
Yeah, that
or I want
actually-
them to just give that to Mira. Like you could do 3 half walls or 3 hatches or like a mix of the two. That would be cool.
Now, actually, that would be, an operator just that has that kind of ability is actually pretty huge. That would be a big pick. I mean, Sludge with just literally a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
Guess it.
I mean,
Grenades as well,
I could throw out all kinds of ideas because none of them will ever get used, unfortunately. But either way, a little bit of a slow start. A lot of droning coming out from Mockit. So they're playing this a little bit slower than Supremacy would, which of course Supremacy lost a lot of the rounds, so probably smart to be playing it differently than they did. But they also have some more aggressive entry operators in theory because they've got, well, I'd say 4 out of 5 of these are all good entry operators. So surprising to see them push so slow. I mean, I guess in theory, Boy should just be droning for all 4 of them as they go in. But they are going to catch Alfama here. He does have at least 2 ADSs to protect him, 1 high and 1 low. There's the high one stopping some of those flashes, but the low one as well, as he pushes back, they may not expect as they try and throw some grenades down on him. But there's more utility eaten. 4 flashes eaten. There's a 5th one. Finally, they can throw a grenade now.
Yeah, and this is Panic's. He knows how to play against this because he plays it himself.
Yeah,
Finally,
I love
yeah.
how he just escapes and he's like, thanks for using all that utility.
Yep, well, the ADSs have been burned, that's for sure, but
Yeah.
still, Alive will lead the charge as there's nobody even in servers. So everybody just fell back. It's a minute 12, and enemy will just have an angle from the tunnel to come into the site. So now, Voy still being alive, still having an extra exothermic charge, will open the second one. They have to put a player up on that open area hatch to contest downstairs, but there's a decent amount of time here for Mockit to play with. But the big opponent here is that Pulse. And what is Alfama doing? He comes in, he gets the kill, but then he goes down, and that's the Sledge eliminated. Not the biggest loss still.
No, I think he's hoping to kill the thermite mid plant or mid breach plant, but nonetheless, it did not happen.
There you go. The Evil Eye is going to get taken down, so Maestro cannot use that to give information to his teammates. They want to burn out those gas canisters. As the Pulse is just giving information. He's in the vault lobby. And Alive just walks on in. Flash going to get thrown. Enemy coming in from the back. He sprays in, and Anthrax will go down. The Mark 14 can't go for the flick. K6 with a C4. Disco with 1 more. As you see the drop from Revan, he'll get 1. In the meantime, Alive is going to try to go for the plant. As Dejus and K6 is still alive. I don't know if there's a C4 still available for this, but no, the plant will go down, and Revan will get the last 2 to shut down Supremacy. A frag fest to end the round, but that's pretty much Mockit in a nutshell. I assume there was no C4 to be played by the Valkyrie, or else that would have been a real downer at the end.
Yeah. For those wondering why the F2 got a little bit of a nerf, demonstration.
It's still pretty good.
Yep, still didn't make a whole lot of difference, as we've talked about. The rate of fire, the amount of damage being done, doesn't matter. When you're throwing 1,000,000 bullets at someone, doesn't matter how much each of those individual bullets does, so much as the rate of fire, as you can see there, is he was able to take down 3 very quickly. So, not to mention the reload time isn't terrible on that gun. Either way, though, they're going to try lockers again. Not the greatest defense, but it was actually fairly close. If Revan hadn't gone off towards the end there and got a lot of kills, I think it could have gone in Supremacy's favor. Like you said, had they had a C4 as well, might have changed things.
Here's the thing. This is a well-known thing within the French scene, because I had to dig through it a bit and understand the mindset of these teams. Since literally half of EU Pro League is French teams.
You were deep undercover.
Yes, I had my beret, I had my moustache, my handlebar stash, and of course, on top of that, I had my healthy baguette running into to France, analyzing all of this. That aside, my attire aside, Revan on the Twitch and Alive on the Ash. If there's 2 players to fear in terms of pure frags on Mockit, it's those, and then you add Panics to it. Panics plays a fantastic IQ, has not done this yet because no grenades, and you know what? Arguably his grenade play is even better. Even IDK are afraid of it. I think it was Meepy and it was Leon that are like, yeah, his grenades, Panix's grenades are absolutely insane. He somehow is always able to thread the needle, and it works out perfectly for him. So give him Sledge, give him IQ back in the day in patch 2.0 for
yeah, no, he can't play it anymore. He needs those grenades.
Yep. Well, we'll see how things play out in this round. Mockit looking to put that 5th round on the board and maybe win their 3rd game in a row, which would be a pretty big change. They'll be, you know, the C9 comeback of Europe.
Definitely could happen here as they are. Mockit's up 2 points.
Look at the live. How does he just walk in there?
He's an Ash, doing Ash things. He's like, hey, here I come.
What is this? That's the smoke. That is a huge frag to start off the round.
What was doing out there? Honestly, that was the Jesus' fault for being a bit too far out. But at the same time, if you've played ranked before, you know to expect that occasional Ash rush.
Hey, if anybody's going to do it, it's alive.
Right? Either way, though, that is a great initial kill, as you pointed out. They still have some good utility on the board. They've got a couple C4s. They've got the cameras and the pulse of those evil eyes as well as black eyes. So a lot of eyes being put on here as well as heartbeat sensors. So in theory, a lot of intel. Unfortunately, that intel did not keep the Jews alive. As well as, now there's a phone to hack, I suppose, but that's too deep embedded in sight to really be going for. However, Revan at least trading it back again. This is not looking great for Supremacy.
Yeah, definitely not. And you see the thermite already coming in. Alpha Mado comes in from the back. Panix will get shot down before his grenades can do any damage. Alive, though, still watching the stairs as Alpha Ma has rotated back from into a staff room and open area to contest the Twitch of Revan that is still playing room up there. But look at the time, Devin. There's so much of it.
Yep. Well, thanks to Alive just pushing in early.
Do they spot the Jaeger from behind? I don't think they hear him. Revan still gets 1 kill, but Alpha Ma is coming in from the back. Enemy gets shot down, and there you go. The Ash, though, is waiting, and the Jaeger will get taken down. A 1v3 is Anthrax last alive. No Nitro Cell to be played as he lands the shot on Revan. Now just try to spray into the back. It's a 2v1 with the diffuser not set. I think they're not sure if there is a C4 still left.
There's not.
Yep.
So, not a lot of health either.
Gotta yell it out for Mockit here. Is they're gonna get the information. They'll have a player to just watch the pulse from the back. They might just go for a default point. There you go. Boy's gonna try to stick it as Alive fires a few rounds in. You're just watching the sides. No, they don't know that he doesn't have a C4.
They're trying to bait it out, but it's gonna take a while to bait out something that doesn't exist.
Maybe next round.
Yeah. Ooh, the ping though, almost working. At this point, they're just gonna frag him.
There you
go.
go.
You know what? We're sick of waiting for you to throw that C4. Let's just go shoot him.
Oh my God! There you go. Round number 7 on the board for Mockit as just literally spraying 3 mags into that wall. It'll connect with something at some point, right?
Yeah, no, he's somewhere behind that wall. Just shoot the entire wall at that point. But match point now. Mockit, who did not do so well on this map last time, deciding to change that up a little bit. Supremacy, unfortunately, in a very, very tight spot here. We will see CEO after all. They are the ones to bring it now. But I don't know if that's going to be the game changer for them here. Not necessarily the best bomb site. I think Lockers is still technically the best, but Panix almost was going to go for a Jack for a second there, but maybe he's going to 6th pick it.
We'll see what happens in here, even if there is that 6th pick. No, they're gonna stick it. Maybe Revan will move away. No, Revan and Twitch. It's kind of
been working.
Yeah, it's been working pretty well so far. So both teams will stick to this. Crisco will still play the Legion with Castle as well, or Anthrax. So they'll have 4 impact grenades between them. Might be able to impact up and take down the thermite charge. Now a lot of people have been asking this. What is this whole impact trick against the thermite charges? Well, it's very simple. The thermite charge, much like Habana pellets, has 1 health coded into the game. So anything, any bullet that hits it from any range with any gun will immediately destroy it. And it's a similar thing with any grenades or anything explosive that has a explosive radius. That blast, that shock, will destroy it because it only has 1 health. So the impact grenade being thrown up through those walls that are 4-meter high walls will instantly destroy a thermite charge that are set below it, and you don't even need at Bandit. I think this site, you can pretty much forego it.
Attackers are moving out
Yeah, I
to
mean,
locate a
assuming you
bomb
don't
and
get
defuse
shot
it.
from some windows or something while you're
point.
trying to back trick, because there are windows that face right up to that spot that could be used against you, but of course, you know, that offers its own risks, so as, we saw, as the Buck learned earlier.
Yeah.
Go live. Drone ready.
Revan, though, doing some droning up first to get any kind of gadgets and cameras out of the way. Thankfully looking for those black eyes, which K6 has obviously put around in some clever locations to hide from them. But I like the scouting there. Of course, he could take those out before they go into such a big open room.
Now, trading is a big part of the hold, and I assume that Supremacy have opened it up. You see the holes that have been opened up above the reinforcements, which should make things a lot easier to throw the impact up and destroy.
If you're
charge.
an attacker and you see that, that should be a big, big clue that that's what's going to happen if you try and put a thermite charge on that wall.
It's a Jinkies moment.
Ooh, just barely living through that. Crisco actually fighting back in that situation. He's going to have to try and get out of there if he can, if there's a rotational, but he might just try and stick it in there. And they're actually going to go for the thermite charge crouch height.
This is the counter.
Yeah.
This is the counter. The impact, oh, it cannot hit. It's way too low, and there you go. The thermite will be able to open things up as it would set very low, close to the floor. Anthrax behind the CEO desk. There's Ravon coming in from the back to contest into the lobby. He's got Alive as well to help him out, and the castle barricade should get shot down. An easy shot for Ravon, as K6 will be the first to fall. And remember, Kisco is very low in health as well in the Legion, and this round is for all the marbles for Supremacy. They need this one to tie up, or to bring themselves up to tie. The castle is spotted, so they should be able to take this out, but unfortunately the run-up will nail 2 players from Supremacy. Crisco still low on health and in the back. It's a 3v3, as Mockit still have time.
We're going to have to pick this diffuser back up. Panix doesn't seem to be the one to want to do it because he's afraid of losing this fight on his way in with half health. But he does catch 2 on the way in. Actually, Revan's stealing one of those kills. So now it's all up to Jujus. But he's got 3 smoke canisters left.
Yeah, there's 35 seconds on the clock. Little health for Mockit, but they can still contest him. And I wonder if there's any calls left for the Dokkaebi.
They could also hack those cams.
Oh, there we go. The angle being held. Revon, beautiful shot onto Dejus, and that is that. Mockit absolutely dismantle Supremacy.
I feel like they've learned a thing or two on Bang.
Yeah,
A little bit better this time.
I mean, Revon and Alive. Pretty good.
Pretty
Pretty
good
good
combo, yeah. Panix had some good plays as well, especially on defense.
And you saw the plants that were coming down, so even that, in terms of pure objective play,
Revan.
was going in. Unfortunately, we can't see the rest because they left the lobby.
Salt.
I don't know.
Either way, though, good play by Mockit, and that is going to help their score that has not been doing so great this season. So,
I mean, they won 2 games. Now this is the 3rd one in a row.
yeah,
They've had a decent round advantage. They've beaten some pretty good
True.
opponents.